live ECU?
R.
Do you bleed purple and gold? Are you ready to hoist the colors?
Hoist the colors!
It's time for the most in-depth look into the world of ECU athletics. Welcome to Hoist the Colors with your host, Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game. Watch the show live on Facebook and at 943thegame.com. Here's Stephen Igo.
Welcome in to Hoist the Colors on a Thursday, September 4th edition of the program. We are 2 days out from East Carolina opening its home schedule against the Campbell Fighting Camels. It'll be a 6 o'clock kickoff on Saturday inside Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium. We're live on YouTube, Facebook, and X. As always, download the Apple Podcast and Spotify. Hoist the Colors 94.3 The Game channels. Download the IBX Media app as well. You can hear all of our interviews done from this show throughout the early part of the week. We caught up with Chris Haymeyer yesterday. We also talked about Pirates in the NFL, what to expect from Keaton Mitchell, what to expect from Zay Jones, Savone Revel, and Jaquan McMillan this season. We talked about that yesterday. You can hear those archived on those channels. And Rod Robinson we visited with on Tuesday as well. So a lot to look forward to in today's program. We're going to visit with Kevin Monroe, also ECU volleyball coach Adler Augustin a little bit later. Philip Pilkington is producing behind the glass. And we've got our usual weekly guest in season. He is Maceo Donald, former ECU football player. You can hear him on the ECU Sports Network this weekend inside Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium. Maceo, are you ready to actually be on hand for this game? I know you were excited about some Pirate football last week, but this is your first time this season being on the call. So are you a little nervous? Are you a vet at this point?
I don't know if I would say I was a vet, man, but I'm excited to be there, be back in the stadium. It's different watching on TV and then just experiencing the guys and seeing them and seeing how big some of them are in real life. You know, you never get used to that, and just the fans and the crowd. So I'm excited to be back. I know it's going to be rocking on Saturday.
Maceo Donald, former ECU football player, now the sideline reporter on the ECU Sports Network. All right, so Week 1 didn't end in a win, Maceo, but I thought there were a lot of positives. We'll start just with your overall take. What were your thoughts coming out of the initial loss to NC State?
Yeah, I think overall it was a pretty good sign for us. The game started off really slow. I think we could have probably moved to some different play calling early in the game. I think we shouldn't have tried to run on them as much as we did early. But all in all, I think we saw a good sighting from our team. They played hard. They fought. I think our defense was a lot better than a lot of people expected, especially up front. We tackled really well, even our secondary guys. So all in all, I think it was a really good game. I think we definitely saw we need to air the ball out a little bit more. But I think we'll have a good showing this week, and I'm sure they'll be on their P's and Q's, have a good showing on offense and defense.
So we saw a ton of, like you said, early run game, also a lot of lateral passing. It felt like John David Baker felt like they could, take advantage of that. I don't know, I did look at some screenshots, and I went back and, at times there were numbers there. They just didn't execute the block. So I get it, but I don't know. At a time, after 3 or 4 tries, do you just try to move away from something like that when it's clearly not working? Just as a player, is that frustrating to kind of see that continue to unfold?
Sometimes, and for us, it was early in the game, and I think we didn't get a first down the whole first quarter, I believe. So I think at that point you're trying to find something new, maybe still following that script, but at some point you kind of want to change it up. So I was kind of yelling there at the TV, just can we not run on first down again? I think they know we're going to run on first down. And then it was still, second and long, we might hand it off again, and then obviously third and long, we're gonna pass the ball. So I think once we kind of moved that and kind of changed and passed it more, I think you could see that's where we kind of had an advantage at the run game. They were big up front. Obviously, that's what you expect from a Power 4 team, but we could definitely pass on those guys. And I think eventually we saw that and did that late in the fourth quarter and third quarter as well.
Yeah, I wrote something for Hoist the Colors online, Maceo, 4 reasons to still be optimistic. And look, I don't think anybody's jumping off the bridge because of a 7-point loss to NC State, but you know how fans are. At times we overreact. This is our only data point for this season. But I thought Caden Hauser, the first bullet point I led with was, Caden Hauser just looked like the guy behind center. I know they didn't win the game, but he just looked calm. He looked cool. He was making throws without much of a run game, without a ton of pass protection. So, how much faith did that comeback attempt kind of give you in the quarterback situation moving forward?
Yeah, I think Caden's legit. If anyone had anything to question, I don't think. I think kind of Saturday showed that he's the guy. I mean, they call him the mailman, so I think they all kind of believe in him. But you can just see that. I know he missed a few throws to Smith a couple times, which you probably wanted him to have. That would have been big plays. But he looked really, really good, really comfortable back there. I think it was 30 for 44. We threw the ball 44 times. So obviously JDB feels confident in putting the ball in his hands and letting him kind of make those decisions in that offense. But I love seeing him back there. I think they're all kind of confident. 10 guys caught a ball. I think 10 different players caught a ball on Saturday. So I think we kind of showed what he could do, and I hope we can just get that run game going eventually, so you can't just play for Caton the whole game.
We're visiting with Maceo Donald, ECU sideline reporter for the ECU Sports Network, former Pirate receiver, running back, special teams guy as well. And Maceo, I thought, let's talk about special teams. Like I always say, in an environment like that, you don't want to go out and lose the game on special teams. And I mean, ECU helped itself on special teams. I know they missed a 53-yarder. I personally am not going to expect a college kicker to make a 53-yarder every time, so I don't really count that against them. What did you think of special teams? And also, we saw a fake punt as well.
Yeah, special teams was clean, and I think this is the first thing I thought about when we did the fake punt is just like, Coach Houston, that was never something he was going to do. He was always going to be status quo and kind of, just play the game how you think it should be played. But I like Coach Hill just taking that chance, and you can just kind of see the different personalities between the two coaches personally from just that play, because I don't think we would always practice it and install it, but I can't really remember going for it on something like that, especially when you need it. Usually it was just something that you're going to stick and, trust the defense and, not really try to get that momentum swing. So I definitely was enjoying that. They missed some kicks as well. But, you said you don't expect a college kicker to make 53 yards. If we had Jake Verity, I would be expecting Jake to knock it down. But all in all, man, they were really good on special teams, didn't give up anything big. So it was a good showing.
Yeah, I was going to ask, like, as a player, I don't know. Does that, we always hear like that kind of invigorates your team when you're. I mean, it was like 4th and 8 from your own 18. I remember specifically, I was in the box, like I was looking down, writing something, and then like I wasn't even watching the play because I just thought it'd be a traditional punt. I look up and Kieran Davis, the defensive end's catching the football. So I don't know how much does that do for the sideline in that moment.
I mean, it's huge, and I think if you ask anybody from maybe my class or who was on the team. I believe that was 2020, the 2020 year. Maybe it was a COVID season. We played SMU at the end of the year. And Luke Larson, I don't even think it was a call, but Luke Larson fakes the punt, just takes off. He was our punter, the old guy. And I don't know if you remember that sideline and that picture on the sideline, but everybody was going insane. And that was, if you ask anybody on that team, that was kind of the flip. We played SMU, had that good game, beat them at the end of the season, had nothing to play for. And you see that next year we carry that momentum into the next season and was able to go to the Military Bowl and stack on 2 bowl appearances back to back. So I think things like that, how small they could be, just looking at it from the outside, it's like big internally. And that momentum is just so huge. It's so hard to describe, really.
Defensively, I thought we saw a lot of good things as well. Maceo, I was concerned after the first drive. I mean, they kind of moved down the field, and then I thought Coach Harrell, Coach Aldridge started dialing up a lot more pressure. We saw a ton more blitzing. Looked a lot like Coach Harrell's schemes. But what did you think about the defense and kind of some of the bright points there?
Yeah, I definitely agree. Early on, we did seem like we were getting pushed around a little bit. It wasn't any just huge plays, but we were they had the ball maybe 6 minutes on that first drive, 5 or 6 minutes, something like that. But I think the thing that stood out to me was that we can tackle, man. Like all around, our guys were tackling and our defensive line settled in. And Xavier McIver, how about that? The guy that transfers away and then comes back. I mean, he had a really, really good performance and was making a lot of plays on that D-line. You didn't even hear Nine show up that much on the commentators didn't say that much about Nine, but you did hear about Xavier McIver. But all in all, I think it's Day Wilson's his name. He can tackle very well. I mean, our secondary guys were really good tackling. The only maybe negative point is we could do a little bit better in coverage, but I mean, we can really tackle. That was a big takeaway for me.
Maceo Donald with us, ECU sideline, a reporter for the coming season. He'll be on the sidelines for the Campbell game. What do you want to see, from week 1 to week 2, specifically? Like we always hear, the biggest improvement happens then. you are playing what should be on paper an inferior opponent, although, you never overlook anybody. We know crazier things have happened in this sport. So is there an area, a position that you're really honing in on? I want to see improvement from this group.
I'm not sure, man. I don't think I'm sure we graded out pretty well last week in most aspects of the game. I think it would just be starting out quick. Who knows what the game would be like if we had showed up for the first quarter last week. So I think that's just the whole big thing, just starting off quick, don't getting behind the eight ball really, and just going out there and showing, you have the script, go through the script, execute the script, and if not, for JDB, get off the script and be able to kind of move and be able to be fluid and change things up a little bit. So I think just starting quick, man. But I really don't have too many negatives about the team last week. The D-line started a little slow. The offense started very slow. Maybe the secondary, that's the only thing I can really think of that you want to see an improvement from week 1 to week 2. But just starting off quick, that's the biggest thing.
Maceo Donald is with us. All right, I'm reading Just Say It online, CarolinaCoastOnline.com. Pirates show they're no one's little brother in the football opener. So what compelled you to write this? I know you hit on just kind of ECU's how hard they competed. What compelled you to write this and kind of take us through for fans that want to check that out, what they can expect from that?
Yeah, man, I started that after the game on Friday or Thursday it was, and I was just kind of thinking like, what could I take away from the game? Because initially I thought it was going to be, man, we didn't show up, we didn't, one of those. But I was just kind of thinking about it, and I really felt that we were going to win after we turned it around. And you could see people were texting me that were at the game was like, our guys are so turned up, in the fourth quarter when we were driving the ball, they were just so lit. They were dancing on the sideline, and I'm looking there on TV. We almost texted at the same time. And, I just felt like before it would have been one of those games that would have just gotten away from us. But you can just see that mentality that those guys have, that it's not the same Pirates of, 2018 or 2019 or those first couple years, at least when I was there. It's a different group, and they have a different expectation about, what they want to be and who they want to be and how they want to execute and play against, anybody, but especially our rival opponents that no one really thinks that we're their equal. So that's kind of where I was going there, man. And, you can catch it out there. I'll probably do another one next week. Going to follow up on ECU, so I think I'm going to stick on that script this whole season.
Yeah, check it out, Carteret County News-Times. Good stuff there from Maceo. All right, we'll get a few takes on the national landscape, Maceo. And, man, what a week of college football. Obviously, Texas, Ohio State, LSU, Clemson, where Mike Houston is now. He got the rundown, the hill there in Clemson, so that was interesting. Any big takeaways from Maceo Donald coming out of week 1 of college football?
Man, I think it's just a lot of loaded teams, honestly. Obviously, you look at the top, the SEC and everybody there, it's the teams that you expect to be good are good, but even some of the other ones, South Carolina, Florida is supposed to be good. Archie Manning might not be good. We'll see. So I think it was a lot of storylines, man. UNC didn't look great at all. So I think it's just a fun year. For me, this is the best time of the year. But obviously, I think if you look at Saturday, the big game was Ohio State, Texas, and Archie Manning wasn't that Heisman favorite. At least he didn't look like it out there. I think he dropped from first in the Heisman race until 8th. I think he's 8th now, odds to win the Heisman. So I think that's the big story, and people are going to definitely keep their eye on that. But I think it's one of those things with the college football playoffs being 12 teams now. It's going to be a bloodbath. It's going to be interesting to see who finally makes it, because there are really a lot of good teams. It could have gone either way for a few games this weekend.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wanted to get your former player perspective on Arch Manning. It's one of those things. I mean, we talked about in the preseason, if his last name wasn't Manning, he probably isn't as hyped as much as he is quite to this level. It's kind of unfair. Like, they're playing at Ohio State, the defending champion, and it's his first real start. And I'm not going to say he looked good because he struggled. He missed some open throws. But I don't know, like, where do you come down on the – obviously, we have to react to it because it's the only data point. But, like, we got to give him some time, too, right, to really get a chance?
Yeah, I'm not going to write him off just yet. But, I mean, honestly, if you just kind of think about it, and they had Ewers the last few years that was starting, Quinn Ewers, and I didn't think he was all that great. I didn't really like him at all. And so, you just kind of think if Archie is this, generational. I think Paul Feinbaum said he was this generational talent, the best thing that they've seen since Tim Tebow. And if he's that guy, then he would have played his first 2 years more than he did. So you can kind of look back on that and say that. But he was playing against probably the best team in the country and just some of the better defensive players. And even his team was really good. I mean, they held Ohio State to 14 points. So if he just kind of doesn't underwhelm for the rest of the year, I'm sure they're going to be in the national championship mix also.
NFL kicks off Thursday. Your Chiefs, they didn't get it done in the Super Bowl last year. It's disgusting for me to say your Chiefs, but look, I mean, they've won the division 9-10 times in a row. I can't even keep count. Are they making it back to the Super Bowl this year? Who's going to challenge them?
I mean, the same old teams, the Bills or the Ravens.
But they can't beat them.
Those are going to be the challenger. I mean, they can't beat them, but I mean, every year it just feels like they get better. It's like, you look at the Ravens and it's like they got Jair now, and it's like, how do they even get Jair? How do they get Derrick Henry? How do they have all these guys on one team? But I mean, it's going to be the top guys again. The Bengals don't have a defense. It's a cool offense, but no defense. So I think we'll have to get Rashee Rice back from suspension. We'll have to handle everything in the division because the Chargers are better. Your Broncos are pretty good also. But I hope they get back, man. They got something to prove. I don't think that weight's on their shoulders this year. But if we're talking about the Panthers, I don't know. We're gonna have to pray for Phillip as the season gets started.
Pray for Phillip, man.
I need it, man. Hey, if we're going to do anything good, it's going to be this first couple weeks because the schedule only gets tougher after that. So if they can't win 2 of their first 3, it could be like a 3-win season.
Nothing gets me going like Panthers-Jags to kick off the NFL season, man. What a matchup.
Right. He'll start off 1-0.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, 1-0. That would be big. Last thing for you. So I asked Phillip on Wednesday's edition of the show, Keaton Mitchell on Sunday night, over or under 3.5 carries? Do you think he gets a handful of touches? Obviously, they're going to ride Henry. Do you think he gets in there at the Bills? At Buffalo?
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah.
I think he might get right under maybe 3, but he's the kind of guy, if you see him rolling, you kind of want to see him break run. So I hope they kind of give him an opportunity, man. It would be really good to see him back out there because he looked good in preseason for the little that he played on preseason.
No doubt. Really hoping for a healthy season from Keaton Mitchell. All right, Maceo, this has been a lot of fun, man. Appreciate you taking the time and stopping off to the side of the road to visit with us, man. We'll see you in Dowdy-Ficklin this weekend.
Yes, sir. See you. Appreciate it.
That's Maceo Donald. All right, on the other side, we're going to switch gears. We'll talk ECU volleyball. Adler Augustin, ECU head volleyball coach, will join us. We'll visit with him, then Kevin Monroe later in the program as well. This is Hoist the Colors on a Thursday.
The team of Flatlands Jessup is working overtime to help ensure that Eastern North Carolinians like you get the health insurance help you need this open enrollment period. New legislation passed meaning more people than ever qualify for affordable coverage. Let us help you today.
Big tax credits are back. Get a 30% tax credit, up to $2,000 off your new Mitsubishi electric heat pump install. Let Comfort Master help you take advantage of the tax credits with a qualifying Mitsubishi electric ducted heat pump or non-ducted Mitsubishi electric mini splits. Mitsubishi electric mini splits are ideal for bonus rooms, garages, or sunrooms. If you need a new HVAC unit, call Comfort Master today.
Call Comfort Master. Call Comfort Master.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Healthwise Pharmacy rounds the bases with all of your infusion, retail, compounding, and medical equipment needs. Locally owned and operated by pharmacist Marcy Parker, Healthwise has grown to be your most trusted provider for infusion services. Currently providing in-home or on-site infusions in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Visit Healthwise Pharmacy at 615B South Memorial Drive or call 252-295-0059 to speak to a patient service representative to find the option that best suits your needs.
Tired of the 1-800 numbers advertising Medicare products? Flatlands Jessup has 6 offices all throughout eastern North Carolina. Get face-to-face help from our local award-winning licensed team. Stop by today. Flatlands Jessup, your whole world covered.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers does real burgers better than anybody. And don't forget about the cheese sticks, fresh salads, and more. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, burgers and sports at its best.
Go Pirates! Arg!
In this age of globalization, we've learned that bigger isn't always better. Ever tried to get phone help from a big corporation from a real person? Right. That's what's so nice about Phelps Chevrolet. After more than 50 years serving our community, Phelps remains family-owned and operated. Mike, Daryl, Wave, West, Alan, and Clay deliver hometown service and integrity, same as always. They share your experience, they share your values, and they are ready to help with any motoring need. Come get you one.
Oh, hey, welcome back. You got here just in time. This is Hoist the Colors on 94.3 The Game.
Welcome back into a Thursday edition of Hoist the Colors. We're 2 days out from kickoff inside Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium, but let's talk some volleyball right now. Pirates are off to a 3-0 start under head coach Adler Augustin. He's kind enough to take some time out of his day as they get prepared for a weekend tournament at the Bulldog Invitational. And Coach, you guys are 3-0. You haven't lost a set yet, so I'm guessing you got to be pretty happy with how your girls have started the season.
Yeah, definitely excited. We're playing well, but it's a long season, and we still got to get better, but definitely happy and pleased with how we started.
The Hampton tournament, you guys opened the season August 29th, swept that 3-0 against Florida A&M, also swept Maryland Eastern Shore and Hampton. So what did you learn about your team, if any, during those events? You know, are you guys in the process of developing some depth early in the season, establishing roles? How much of that is happening right now early on in the year?
Yeah, some roles are pretty locked in. We have some veterans in some of the roles, but some other roles are still kind of up in the air, still trying to find who will take over, which is great because you always like having good competition in the gym and people, trying to prove themselves to get a little bit more playing time. So we have a little bit of both. Depth-wise, we're not super deep. We have about 13 on the roster, 15 really, but 13 that are available to play this season. So we're always managing that. But we have a lot of good practice players that help us out with, being able to go the distance.
We're with Adler Augustin, head volleyball coach at East Carolina. And for those who aren't familiar, we were talking pre-show, we don't even know if you're 5th or 6th year due to COVID, but you took over during COVID. It's been a handful of years, and it was a time of transition. But for those who haven't been following, you have really established a winning culture. 21 wins in 2023, 19 last year. You guys have appeared in basically what's the equivalent to the NIT in volleyball the last 2 years. So just how proud are you of the winning culture you guys have been able to build here?
Yeah, obviously that's the main reason, get hired and try to improve different programs. It took a while, but we're here now. We definitely are excited. The players are excited, and it helps recruiting-wise. When you're recruiting younger players, they see the winning culture when they come on visits, when they come to games, and see how our current team is meshing together and obviously putting out great wins. So that's always exciting. But it was definitely not easy. But we like where we're at now, and we're trying to keep pushing forward.
As we said earlier, you guys will be in Asheville this weekend for the Bulldog Invitational, taking on Furman on Friday, along with UNC Asheville that same day later in the night. And then Saturday, scheduled to play West Georgia. So early scouting report from what you expect from these teams. Do you expect kind of an uptick in competition?
Yeah, for sure. Every weekend, the competition goes up. So we expect these teams to be, a little bit more ready than first weekend. Also, first weekend you have no scout on any team, so it's kind of, you're just out there and trying to make adjustment on the fly. But now that everybody's at least played 2 or 3 matches, so there's something to go off of. So I'm sure those 3 teams will be, prepared to play us, and then we are going to have to make some adjustments as we play, and also try to get some wins.
You guys play your first 8 matches away from home. I know in more previous years you guys have had some home games earlier. So was that a scheduling thing? Do you like challenging your team away from home early? Would you like some more home games? Just how did you kind of balance that?
Yeah, we definitely normally have a tournament at home. It just didn't work out this season based on teams that were available to play and who they wanted. Because usually when you do the tournaments, they're not just playing you; they're also playing the other team that are there. So it's kind of like, hey, different teams want to play certain teams. So it's sometimes hard to balance what everyone wants. And then it just so happened didn't work out this year. But yes, we would love to play a little bit more matches at home for sure, especially for a home crowd being at home. But there's also some good things playing away. You have to be good at playing in other arenas. So that's always a business trip. So challenging our team with that aspect, the crowd's not in your favor. It's loud. So definitely getting the freshmen prepared for what conference is going to be like when we have those rivalries for sure.
East Carolina was picked to finish 4th in the American Conference preseason poll. As Coach said earlier, some key pieces back. Obviously, Ellie Pate back, who's a tremendous piece for your program. Also bringing in a transfer coach, Kai Bailey from the conference. Was curious, how that all transpired, and a player I'm sure you're familiar with. How excited were you to get her?
Yeah, we were excited. We have actually 2 players from the conference. We have Kai from UTSA, and then we have Brooklyn from UAB, and both of them, played really well when they played against us. So it's kind of when we saw that they were in the transfer portal, it's like, well, if they gave us headache, we for sure want them to be on our team, doing the same thing to other opponents. But yeah, once they got in the portal, like everyone, we reached out, and then with Brooklyn. She has Ellie's one of her good friends, so that kind of helped there. And Kai, seeing how we operated when we played against them, and her family, her mom's from Atlanta, so which is closer to this area than obviously Texas. So that kind of helped that situation as well. So yeah, they're doing a great job. They're both starting for us right now, so having them has been really, really good.
Yeah, I was going to mention Ellie obviously coming back after a good season and 33 kills already through three matches. What does she bring to your program, not only from what she does on the court, but from a leadership perspective as well?
Oh, man, she's definitely – now this year she's one of our captains. She's lead by example. She's always doing the right thing. She works hard in practice. She comes early, stays late at times, does her film session. So she just wants to get better. I think she's one of the best in the conference, but it's always cool to see those type of players want to keep improving, ask questions like, hey, how often can I come in and get extra reps? And I think that also bleeds into her leadership. Without even saying too much, the freshmen that play her position could kind of look up to her and say, oh, man, she's already that good, and she's doing more work than we are. Maybe we should do the same, right? So that's always good to see and help build that. That's part of the culture. So hopefully when those freshmen are now, when they become seniors or juniors, they're doing the same thing for the next group of kids that are coming through our program. But, yeah, she's awesome on the court, but does even better job when she's not playing.
Taryn Gilreath, another preseason all-conference pick, another key returner, all-freshman team last year. And you mentioned earlier, but you got to like, I know you're still looking to improve the depth, but you have to like some of the key returners, veteran players, whether it be the portal returning players that you can kind of count on early this year, right?
Yeah, always having returners, especially returners that were selected last year as first team, second team, or freshman team. It's always good because they know what to expect. They've been here before. Also, that means they were here in the spring. That's usually when people get a lot better. So if they got awards last fall and then they go through a spring, the hope is that they improve. And we're doing a lot more stuff because we have a lot of returners that've been here and, creating some mismatch that maybe we didn't have before, playing differently than we were before. We're in a 5-1 as opposed to last year we're in 6-2. So Taryn's doing a great job, especially being a sophomore setter. It's kind of like being a sophomore quarterback and running the show. And then, I think the unsung hero, I think should have been on first team last year was Carly in Northcross. But she was in and out because of injury last year. But her numbers were first team, probably All-American, but she didn't play enough matches to get considered. But so having her as well, she's a senior. She's one of our captains who I think in the middle for sure we're definitely really, really good. We just got to, keep getting better as the week goes.
Adler Augustin is with us, ECU volleyball coach. All right, so you guys are focused on the task at hand, coach. You got to worry about Asheville this weekend, and then you got the Tribe Invitational at William & Mary after that. But I do want to just make fans aware the home opener will be Tuesday, September 16th against Wake Forest, and I know then you guys will go back on the road to Chapel Hill after that. But that home opener, I imagine on a Tuesday night, 6 o'clock, that has a chance to be a pretty good crowd. And hopefully you guys can continue the hot start. But just the home schedule this year, how much are you guys looking forward to opening that thing up with Wake and then hopefully getting some big crowds at Minji's this season?
Yeah, having crowds in Minji's is always awesome. Seeing the crowd, how loud it gets in Minji's, especially when we're playing a really good opponent. The crowd definitely energizes us, especially after a big kill or a big block. And even if we're down, because of the momentum that the crowd could carry, could it definitely get us out of some tough situations. I would assume the crowd's at least good for 2 or 3 points a set, whether it's being so loud that the other team can't communicate very well, or just if they make a mistake, you hear that noise, the crowd's coming after you. Maybe you don't play as crisp from the opponent. And then for us, it's just that energy boost when we need it and just keeps pushing us forward. So, yeah, we are excited about the Wake Forest match. Obviously, it'll be our first home match. And also that's when, most of the student body can see us play. It's going to be a great match. It's going to be packed. Minji's always an awesome place to play in.
And last thing for you, Coach, obviously with the American, the travel can be tough. And just looking at, some of these road swings, difficult to prepare for. I guess, what have you learned maybe from past years going on the road, for back-to-back matches at Texas and Florida? Like, how do you try to prepare and keep your girls' legs fresh as this long season kind of continues on once that arrives later this year?
Yeah, the road, it's hard to prepare for the road because you don't get the exact same schedule every year. So even if, the way the schedule was last year's not the same. So you can't get into some sort of rhythm like where you could say, on this weekend we're always in Florida and we're going to play these two teams. It changes where you play the teams and what weekend they fall in and who you get next. So what we try to do generally, as we get further and further in the season, the way we structure practice, maybe they're not as intense when we get closer to travel time, right? At the beginning of the week, and then we taper off to get a little bit more rest, and then pick it back up the night before the game. So that's kind of how we try to go about it. And then I think being on the road a ton in preseason right now is definitely going to get us well acclimated playing away from home. So that's kind of the hope we could get out of this.
He is Adler Augustin, the head volleyball coach with East Carolina. Again, they'll be back in action at the Bulldog Invitational in Asheville, starting with Furman on Friday at 2 o'clock. Adler, we appreciate the time on the program. We'll check in later this season, but best of luck this weekend.
All right, thank you so much. Go Pirates.
That is Adler Augustin, head volleyball coach at East Carolina. We'll get a break in. We'll continue on Hoist the Colors after.
Storm season is approaching. North Carolina weather can damage your roof, and before long, a small leak can turn into a big problem. Your home is one of your biggest investments, so protect it with Wells Home Improvements.
We work with all insurance companies for a hassle-free roof installation experience. Call us today and get 10% off your roof installation when you mention this commercial.
252-227-8403 or visit us online at wellshomeimprovements.com. Wells Home Improvements. Local, honest, dependable.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human. About creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
You have a choice when you invest in insurance, and when you choose First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with people you can trust. Clark Stallings has deep ties in the community. His team, including Keaton Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leyva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Ginger Smith, provides knowledgeable and professional advice. First State Insurance Advisors is an independent insurance agency. They offer all types of personal insurance as well as various types for business. Call or email First State Insurance Advisors today. We want to be your trusted choice agency.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you Farm to Fork Beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes, just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to Fork Beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown. At National Finance, we're all about hometown support, just like ECU football. National Finance helps us win on and off the field. They've got your back when you need it most. Fast, easy personal loans for life's big plays. And just like us, they're committed to Eastern North Carolina. National Finance, proud supporters of ECU athletics. Visit nfcmoney.com for loans as fast as today.
Welcome back in. Hoist the Colors, 2 days out from kickoff inside Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium for the home opener, ECU and Campbell. Kevin Monroe will be on the call for the ECU Sports Network. He joins us now, color analyst on the ECU Sports Network. And Kevin, we've talked about ECU NC State just about all week. We haven't got your take on it live on the air yet, so we'll start there. Welcome back, but just what were some of your big takeaways from the Pirates' 24-17 loss to the Wolfpack?
Hey, how you doing, Igo? I said in my keys to the game on the podcast that I thought we needed to get out early. You know, it's always a really nice environment at NC State in terms of they show up big for the in-state opponents. So they always pack the house for the Pirates and Tar Heels and people like that. So I knew that the environment was going to be crazy. So I thought we needed to get out early, get a touchdown or two on the board, and kind of get the fans out of the game. And we did the exact opposite, right? You get down 17-0, and that place is going crazy. It makes it a tough place to play. So I love the resilience of the Pirates. I love how they settled in. You know, in the last 18 minutes of the game, they didn't give up any points, and then they themselves scored 10 to cut the game to 7. And so they gave themselves an opportunity to at least tie or go for the win if that opportunity arose. So I appreciated the fight in the Pirates. I think that's a very beatable NC State team. I think if that's at a neutral site or at Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium, I think the Pirates probably win that game and don't go down so big early. So they're gonna want that game back later in the season. But I do appreciate how hard they fought. I appreciate, C.J. Bailey, is like the third or fourth highest paid quarterback in the country, making over almost $3 million a year. So to be able to shut him out in the second half and kind of pin him in and keep him from running around too much, I thought was impressive. They did give up some deep balls, too many deep balls for my liking. So got to get that squared away in the back end back there, the corner position and at safety. Just too many balls dropping in there, and so that was a little bit frustrating. The Pirates ran the ball east to west too often. Just the NC State's too good up front, too fast for that. A lot of plays got stopped in the backfield, so got to be better there. But the defense was much better. East Carolina's defense was much better than I thought they would be with all the starters leaving from last year, and they stepped up in the second half. So all in all, they gave themselves a chance to win it late. So I'm at least excited about that.
Yeah, Kevin, I feel kind of the same way, and defensively didn't really know what to expect. I thought, how encouraging is it that the defensive line, they looked a little shaky early. They lost some contain on some of the early runs, but I didn't think they got pushed back at the point of attack. So it looks like that unit should be pretty good, and I think you can fix some things from there. If you can't stop the run, you can't stop much, but at least it looks like the defensive line should be pretty solid once again.
Yeah, I think the one of the announcers there on ESPN at one point about midway through the second quarter had said the Pirates had already had 6 tackles in the backfield or something like that. So they were getting stops, and they were getting pressure and making Smothers go left and right instead of downfield a lot. He did get loose a few times, but I think that defensive line is going to get better and better.
Kevin Monroe is with us, ECU Sports Network analyst. All right, I get asked this question all the time, Kevin. You are a former corner, so I'll get your take on it. And I've probably asked you this before, but it comes up often. So, we saw some ECU DBs, especially the corners, in position to make pretty much a decent position as far as coverage, but they did not turn around, get their hands on the football, and the receivers made the play over them. So I always get asked, why don't the corners turn around and make a play on the ball? It's a lot easier than it's easier than it sounds to actually go out there and do. So is that a technique thing? Is it a position thing? What are you seeing there early on from these ECU corners?
It's both a technique thing, and it is, I don't want to say courage, but you got to have guts to turn away from the receiver and find the football knowing that it can drop in over your head. And so I always say what the difference between a good corner and a great corner, or a bad corner and a good corner, is the guy that can be in position, but not only be in position, but when the ball is on its way in, be ready to turn and make a play on the football. It's almost impossible to play corner if you never look for the football, because you can't make a play on it. Now, some DB coaches will teach you to, play through the receiver's hands. Well, that's great if you have perfect timing. But what you should be better at doing is being in good position so that you can put your hands on the receiver, know that he's right there, and then turn around and find the football. So way too often, DBs are either nervous about not being in good position or nervous about turning around and losing that position, and they don't make the play on the football. And it drives me crazy as well. So your fans are right in thinking that, because that's not what good DB play is about. What it's about is getting stride for stride, where you can reach out and touch that guy, and then finding the ball and making a play on the football.
Kevin Monroe with us, offering some insight on the DB play. Let's look at the offense, Kevin. I've written about it this week. Caton Hauser, just like the poise he showed with really no running game, not much protection. My confidence grew in Caton Hauser being the guy. He had them in position to come back, tie, win the game, and I don't know. It just seems like he's getting more and more established himself as kind of the face of the program right now.
Well, the one thing I loved about Caton was the fact that he had started some games in the Big Ten. And there's not, there's the SEC, but it doesn't get much crazier than being in the Big Ten in terms of bullets flying at you. You got to be, you got to be steady. You can't get rattled. You can't have happy feet. You got to sit in the pocket and make throws. And he was able to do that. And so coming into East Carolina, I always felt like, we'll figure out about his arm strength and his accuracy and all that stuff. But what I do know is he's steely-eyed, and he'll stay in there and make a throw. And so that's what we saw on Saturday. He got sacked a couple times. He got flushed out of the pocket. But for the most part, he was looking downfield, looking for receivers, and making the throws. And that's what I expected him to do, and that's what he's continuing to do. Now, I would like for them, and this is maybe more on JDB than it is Caton, they got to throw the ball downfield more. I mean, it works when they do it. I mean, Anthony Smith caught one downfield. Brock caught one or two downfield. So it can work. It's too much east to west and 10 yards or less for my liking. Stretch the field a little bit more and get that defense to back up and cover. But yeah, I love what he did, especially in the second half.
Kevin, curious as a defensive player, like when you go into a game preparing for a team with really athletic tight ends. I mean, like Javante Connor and Jasir Riles, I think, are two of the most talented tight ends ECU's had as far as athleticism. I mean, they still got to keep putting the pieces together, but you saw some of that in the opener. And I don't know, how much of a weapon can that be and, kind of a matchup nightmare for opposing defenses as the season moves along?
I mean, they say Riles is one of the fastest guys on the team. I mean, you saw that play, the last play of the year last year, where he runs down and meets the running back in the end zone there after the big long play against NC State. So he can flat out fly. And so, yeah, you have a guy like that with his size that can run. I mean, he's going to torture safeties and linebackers in the middle of the field. So, yeah, you got to have him out there running routes and getting open and trying to find a way to hit him. And then, yeah, Javante Connor, like no one even knew a whole lot about him. He makes that big play right there before halftime, the 79-yard, catch and run. And so he's a big, tall target, strong, clearly can run as they outran defenders to the end zone. So, yeah, I mean, having good tight ends, it's always been a thing that, the good quarterbacks love a good tight end because he's their safety valve over the middle. He can make a play when the receivers are covered. And so, yeah, I love that. I'm excited that my son moved from receiver to tight end because there's so many more options for you, and you're that safety valve for the quarterback.
Kevin Monroe with us, ECU Sports Network analyst. Final thing, Kevin, we'll get you out of here. Obviously, you'll be in Dowdy-Ficklin for ECU Campbell. And ECU's, look, they're going to be a big favorite. This is a game they should win. But what are the things you really want to see ECU execute to kind of give you confidence moving forward going into this game?
I definitely want to see them get on the board early. I mean, you'll be at home in a rowdy Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium, and so hopefully they can come out and get a touchdown either offensively or defensively in the first quarter and just put a little bit of pressure on the Camels. But controlling the line of scrimmage, when you play down a division, when you play an FCS or what have you, you should have the advantage on the offensive and defensive lines. So I just want to see them just dominate that. They got to get that running game going. As you said, only had net 30 yards rushing. Obviously, they had 67 gross, but had some losses. So just find a way to pound that football when you're on offense, and then when you're on defense, the Camels, they're going to want to run the football. They had two guys last week that rushed for more than 4 yards a carry. They're going to try to establish a run. You cannot let a team like that run the football on you. So dominating the line of scrimmage and getting out early, I think, is the key. And they did a good job of taking care of the football last week without turning the ball over. They got to keep that going because you play a lesser opponent or an opponent that you're favored over, you start turning the ball over. That's what it makes that game a little bit more even. So they got to take care of the football.
He's Kevin Monroe, ECU Sports Network analyst. Kevin, we'll see you on Saturday inside Dowdy-Ficklin. Appreciate the time as always and the insight.
Of course, I appreciate it, man.
That's Kevin Monroe, ECU Sports Network analyst. He'll join us throughout the season. Always great to catch up with Kevin. All right, we'll get our final break in. We'll come back. Philip Pilkington and I will wrap up the show after this.
It's time to soak up the savings at Greenville Toyota. Summer is here with hot deals on a great selection of new Toyotas, like a Corolla, $189 a month, or Tacoma, $279 a month. Soak up the savings at Greenville Toyota.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro-adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Daughtridge Gas and Oil has been your dependable propane supplier for 95 years. Their trained technicians can service and properly install all your propane and natural gas appliances. Plus, Daughtridge Gas and Oil is your backyard expert with fire pits, grills, smokers, and more, including quality outdoor furniture at their Greenville Patio and Hearth Shop at 1901 Charles Boulevard. Go by and see the knowledgeable staff at Daughtridge Gas and Oil for propane delivery or call 756-1345.
Other restaurants claim their food is fresh and fast, but are they friendly? At Moore's, you're treated like family the minute you walk into their doors. With locations in Winterville, New Bern, Swansboro, Morehead City, and Jacksonville, we've been practicing what we preach since 1945. At Moore's, our barbecue is slow cooked and smoked over real wood daily until it's so tender it's falling off the bone. Combined with our fresh chicken, cooked-to-order seafood, and homemade fixins, we're sure you'll agree. If it's not Moore's, it's less.
My hair is definitely a reflection of who I am. Wild, fun, fiery for sure.
It just goes with the flow.
Me and my hair, both untamable.
I wear it how I feel.
Feel fearless.
Feel empowered. Look fantastic.
Look fantastic.
Look fantastic.
Feel unstoppable.
Unstoppable.
The sun is out, and so are the deals at Greenville Toyota. Soak up the savings on a hot selection of new Toyotas, like a Camry, $229 a month, or RAV4, $289 a month. Soak up the savings at Greenville Toyota.
Or where you get your podcasts.
Got it. You don't have to tell me twice. I remember it exactly.
Steve and Igo and Hoist the Colors on 94.3 The Game.
Final segment here. It's been a guest-heavy show. We'll bring in Philip Pilkington for the final few minutes. We'll make our game picks on Friday with Bobby Harward in studio, both college and NFL. NFL kicks off tonight, Eagles and Cowboys. So looking forward to that. And I guess we can pick – I guess we don't have to pick Eagles, Cowboys. I mean, I don't even really want to pick that game, Philip. I mean, we usually include the opener, but this year I'm like, that game, I'll watch it, but it doesn't even intrigue me that much.
Yeah, I think it's just there's not a lot of faith in Dallas right now. Philly's favored by 8.5. Who's going to run the football for Dallas? Is it going to be your guy Javonte Williams, my guy Miles Sanders? I don't think either one of them are really cut out to be the starting running back of the Dallas Cowboys right now. Look, the offensive line is not what it's been in the past. Defense should be okay, but I don't know. It's just not an intriguing Cowboys team, and they're over-under setting at 8.5 for the year. You think Philly rolls tonight pretty easily?
Yeah, it's a new look Eagles team to some degree, but I still think they're just much better. But you never know in a divisional rivalry, and it's week 1. All right, let's look at the college football slate, and it's kind of, I guess mid is the right word, which it's week 2. We got spoiled week 1, and I'm like trying to pick games for this week's pick'em, and I'm just kind of having trouble. Like the obvious headliner is Michigan, Oklahoma. But even then, you've got a true freshman quarterback and Bryce Underwood starting on the road. There's a lot of intriguing games like USF at Florida, even Ole Miss at Kentucky, somewhat intriguing with Kentucky's coach obviously trying to save his job. Baylor, SMU, Iowa, Iowa State, Illinois, Duke. There's a lot of intriguing games, but not too many headliners. I don't know. Are you looking forward to any other action besides ECU Campbell? It might be a good week for a 6 o'clock kickoff for once.
Yeah, it might be. And, sometimes I think we get a little frustrated when number 1's not playing number 5. The thing is, when number 1's playing a good team that's slightly not out of the rankings, usually it's a blowout anyway. So, all the top, 8, 10 teams are playing FCS opponents. But what's really nice, to your point there, teams like Baylor, teams like Iowa State are just ranked, and they're playing teams who are just not ranked. This actually, maybe these games don't have college football playoff implications like some of those games do, but these are teams who are still dark horse college football playoff contenders if things break their way in conference play. And then one I'm kind of looking forward to in the late window is UNLV UCLA. I think the Bruins are terrible. They are favored on the road at 2-0 UNLV. And, this is a chance to see if UNLV is the real deal and if UCLA is as bad as we think they are. But I'm not going to lie, kind of like UNLV money line in that one.
You've also got Arizona State, Mississippi State. We were talking about that one earlier this week. Kind of an intriguing late window game. Vanderbilt at Virginia Tech. That feels like a huge game for Virginia Tech. Boston College at Michigan State. Who does Coach Prime have?
Yeah, who they got this week?
I don't know. That's a good question. Let's see. Colorado has Delaware.
Oh.
So it's an FBS game.
It is.
Hey, so we looked last week at the most expensive tickets, and ECU was amongst, like top 5 get-in price. What if I told you I could get you into a decent game for $5? You can get tickets as low as $5 to UConn Syracuse. Would you go?
If ECU wasn't playing. That's
if you lived in the area.
Yeah, why not? I bet Illinois Duke's probably about the same, and that's a decent game if Duke plays to their potential.
Yeah, tickets as low as $21. Like most of these games are FCS, FBS games, but it just stuck out to me that UConn, Syracuse, which they play in a pretty big dome, but you can get into the JMA Wireless Dome for $5 to watch college football. Yeah, how weird is that?
It's not right. At least call it the whatever that sponsor just was, Carrier Dome. Like, you got to keep the name of the dome.
Yeah, it's just, we just continue to lose our way. NFL Red Zone going to commercials.
Don't get me started.
And
I'm going to get us fined and me fired.
All right, we are out of time, and my dogs are barking, so good time to wrap up the show. It is Hoist the Colors Friday, 12 noon. We will be back. Bobby Harvard will be in studio. We'll be making our game picks for college football and NFL. Thanks again to all our guests, Maceo Donald, Kevin Monroe, and Adler Augustin. We'll see you Friday, 12 noon.